Hey friends, so I'm gonna make some chocolate chip cookies because Elena is having some friends over tonight and I wanted to make chocolate chip cookies and I thought I would just do it here live with you guys for a couple reasons, because why not? But I also, like a lot of you, used to follow my blog a long time ago, back when I had the Nourishing Apron up and going, and we've really been on quite a journey, our family anyway, of health and wellness, as many of you know, and how we eat has played a really huge role in that. And we've done a lot of different things with our eating over the years, from when I first started cooking without refined sugar. That was like 15 years ago, and I started milling my own wheat, and that was really a season that pushed me into learning how to bake differently, because I love to bake. I like to cook, but I love to bake. But I also, I'm not a fancy baker. Like I don't do fancy things when I bake. I just like really good baked goods. I like when they taste good. They don't necessarily need to look good, but they need to taste good. And so just might be better being out here closer to me. Okay, our internet's a little bit weird, so if I see that, I'll pause and wait for you guys to come back on. Should at least all be together. It won't be separate like this. Anyway, one of the things that we learned in our health journey, as Craig has gone through chronic illness and I went through cancer at the same time, we've worked with a lot of different health issues with our kids. Food plays such a huge role in that, and the more I've learned about that, yeah, we might need to do that. We could. Sorry, we're troubleshooting like how I can do good stable internet. Because I keep losing my train of thoughts as this cuts out. Okay, so, but I've become passionate about how food impacts our immune system, because Craig's system was suppressed for so long. My immune system was suppressed because of cancer, like that's an indication. And I've watched my kids go through all kinds of different health journeys as well. So we went from taking out refined sugar in our home to taking out gluten in our home, to going paleo in our home, to now landing on what really has been just a beautiful gift to our health, and it's introducing Einkorn into our diets. And I want to share just a little bit about that before I get into making cookies with you all. But I was hesitant to try Einkorn, honestly. So just to give you a little history lesson, Einkorn is the original ancient wheat. And let's see, 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with a wheat allergy, not celiac, not even necessarily a gluten allergy, but it was a wheat allergy. And so I started avoiding wheat at that point for the most part, until there was a season where I was just done with that and I wanted bread. But we took wheat out of our diet. And so then that led into, I did the Whole30 for a while. My digestion has always been kind of wonky. So I tried Whole30 for a while, thinking maybe that would do it. I'd heard different things about there's a book called Wheat Belly. Craig read a book called Grain Brain, and we started to notice and realize that there's so much inflammation that happens in the body because of grain that is in the American diet right now. So I was afraid to try Einkorn because it's a grain. But it's the ancient original wheat that we hear about in scripture. This is where wheat started, is with Einkorn. And what makes it so unique is that it has 14 chromosomes in it, where modern day wheat actually has 4 chromosomes. And I won't get into a lot of this. You can research it yourself. But what has happened over the years is the wheat has been changed much to make it grow faster, to make it more, to make it able to fend off pesticides, bugs and disease, to make it easy to grow, to make it easy to harvest. And so all of these things have changed the actual chromosomes in the wheat. So the modern day wheat has 42 chromosomes. So that is even when it's like whole grain wheat. And then when it goes through the process to be white, it's stripped of everything else that could possibly be good. And you guys, this is even with organic, even if it's grown organically, it still has more chromosomes than our body is able to digest and process. So I was hesitant to go into it, but I thought, you know what, let's try, because what I was starting of is that my digestion was still struggling because I didn't have in my diet. I was doing a lot of fiber through fruits and vegetables, and cutting grain out, but in cutting grain out, I was still missing in my diet, and there are grains that are actually really good for our bodies. Again, now if you have some serious celiac diseases and those kinds of things, it's different. You guys you struggle in a different way than I ever have, and so this is for those of us who are sensitive to modern day wheat. And maybe you don't even know that you're sensitive, but I would encourage you, if you have a lot of inflammation in your body, if you struggle with a lot of pain, if you struggle with brain fog, all of those things often go back to the things that we eat. So when I started introducing einkorn into our diet, my digestion started to improve, and we love it, you guys. It tastes so good. So I'm gonna just, every once in a while, I'll pop on here and do a video sharing whatever I happen to be making, because it tastes so yummy. So yummy, in fact, that I'm gonna make this for all of Elaine's who are coming over tonight, and they will not know that they're not eating regular wheat and sugar in their cookies. So, unless we tell them, which we may or may not. Yeah, Elena's saying, unless they watch the video, then they'll know. So, we're gonna start with chocolate chip cookies today. So, I posted the recipe so that you'll know. You can go back and look at it. But one more thing before we get into this. So, einkorn is full, you guys, of minerals. Not only fiber, but it's minerals, it's vitamins, there's high protein. So the actual profile of it, our body knows what to do with it. Modern day wheat, our body actually takes it in as the body doesn't know what to do with it. Same thing with sugar. When we consume those things, our immune system tries to attack them because it's foreign. When our immune system is attacking something besides like viruses and bacteria that come at us, then viruses and bacteria can come at us, and our immune system is exposed because it's really trying to figure out what is going on in the body. So that's one of the reasons going into this next season, when we're in the middle of a pandemic, it is so important, you guys, to eat well, to make sure that we're feeding our body, we're not freaking our bodies out so that our body doesn't know what to do when viruses come at us. So fueling our body first from the inside is really our first defense to keep strong and healthy. So let me know if you want more information on einkorn. I can tell you where I get it. I'll just tell you. So the best price that I have found is through Young Living. And as you guys, most of you know, we are passionate about Young Living because of how it transformed my husband's health and all kinds of different health in our home. But they also happen to have the best price on einkorn. So someday I'll show you how I mill it, because I have it, and I just mill it up, so it's in the tub that I use to mill it. So I'll show you sometime how I actually mill it. I like to buy the berries and then make the flour myself, but you can also buy just the flour itself. And I use all whole grain. I don't use any white or all-purpose einkorn. I just like all whole grain. And it's different to work with in some recipes, but other recipes not so much. So this is my chocolate chip cookie recipe. So we're gonna start with butter. And the recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup butter. So this is soft butter. And you guys, nice, that worked. It's back on. Baby in the screen. Okay, this is what happens when you have teenagers hanging out around. So I set this out earlier to soften it because I knew I was going to be making cookies today. Usually I don't know if I'm going to be making cookies, so I just am I just suddenly think, oh, I want to make cookies, so I don't have soft butter. But what I've discovered is into tablespoons and then put it in here and stick it in the oven when the oven's cold. Then I turn the oven on to start preheating it, and it takes just a couple minutes to soften it. That's always how, if I need to defrost something, that's how we work around using the microwave. So again, look into that. You want it for a strong immune system to avoid the microwave as well. Okay, so that is the butter. So the sweeteners that we use, none of them are refined, but again, you guys, sweeteners, it's an every once in a while kind of a thing, right? That doesn't fit in there. So let's go with, we're gonna do 3/4 of a cup. This is coconut sugar. You might see it called palm sugar. I get mine either at Fred Meyer or Walmart because that's usually where I shop, but most places have it now. And it's a great, if you need a dry sugar substitute, it's great. I have chosen to not use xylitol in my sweeteners or erythritol. So this is just the natural sugars that I use. And then it calls for 1/3 cup of maple syrup. So I have found that If you want organic maple syrup, Costco and Winco actually have the best price. I haven't been there in a very long time, so I have been getting what Walmart has, which is not organic, but it's pure, so that's good. So 3/4 of a cup maple syrup and an egg. And then, Baby Yoda, you're distracting me. So then it calls for, the price of vanilla extract went up so much, not that like last year, I think. I started using French vanilla. My kids are all like because they're so loving Baby Yoda. I'm afraid I'm gonna. I don't like to splash you. So cute. Okay, just whip it up again. Okay, now you can do this in a separate bowl if you want. Put the dry ingredients right on top of, and to you guys, you don't need to do any kind of scooping for the einkorn. I just scoop it up and shake it out and put it in. So it calls for 2.5 cups, and I actually milled this I think yesterday because I find it actually is a little more predictable if I mill it up the day before rather than the day of. That it just absorbs liquid a little bit more consistently. Okay, so 2¼ cups einkorn. Then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon salt. This is 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm going to do 2 of these. And I like to get salt that is not refined as well. So this is the real salt. It's a pink salt. I think from Salt Lake. I think it's from Salt Lake in Utah. And then baking soda. And this calls for 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So I'll do 3 of these. Okay, and then from here, I find that if I use my mixer, it makes them a little bit more flat than I like. So I'm gonna just kind of spread the dry ingredients together on the top here first with the spoon before I mix it in. And then I mix it just until the wet ingredients or the dry ingredients are incorporated. But I do like to hand mix it so that they don't get too whipped up. And actually, I usually undermix it just a little bit because I'm going to add the chocolate chips next. Okay, so there's the... Okay, so anyway, this brand does have sugar in it, but it doesn't have soy, which is important to me. You can get a paleo chocolate chip. Costco usually has one. I'm sure you can probably find them on Amazon. That's what I prefer to use. But we could only do a trip to Fred Meyer today, and they don't yet anyway have one there. I think there's a brand there that they do have that doesn't have refined sugar, but I think it has erythritol in it, or is that it? Something like that. And I don't like to use that. Okay, so then I do 1/2 cup of chocolate chips and mix that in just until the chocolate chips are all throughout, and then we're going to stick a plate on the top of it and let it sit for 15 minutes before I bake it, because the einkorn, it continues to absorb liquid. So if I do it now, if I put them in the oven now, then my first batch will be flat and the others will be a little more plump. And I like them to be just a little more plump. But if you like flat chocolate chip cookies, then I would just do 2 cups of einkorn, not 2.5. And then I just stick a plate over the top and let it sit, dry out. The plate kind of keeps it from drying out. I won't make you sit here for 15 minutes. that's all I'll show you, but I can post a picture in the comments of what the cookies look like when they're done, because I like to underbake them. I find that if I underbake them and let them cool on the cookie sheet, then they are nice and soft, like crispy on the outside but soft on the inside, except for one batch that I do for Evan, which is like a burnt batch because he loves that flavor, so we do that for him. So that's it. Those are chocolate chip cookies. So you're all doing well and having a good Saturday, and I'll see you again sometime when I make something else, because I'm thinking of all the things I can share with you, like monkey bread and chocolate cake and all of the things that we love to eat and have been probably eating too much of over the last 4 months. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye.